السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. In the beginning of the recitation, we heard some verses about Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Ibrahima kana ummah, that indeed Abraham was a nation. So I wanted to just pause a little bit to talk about the significance of that verse. The traditions teach us that Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, at the time before Allah Ta'ala blessed him with Ismail and Ishaq, that he was the only believer on earth, or him and his wife Sarah were the only ones to believe at all. There was no faith left in humanity except in this one person. So think about what that means. That one person, from that one person, faith itself, whether it's our faith or other faiths, but faith in the Creator as a concept, as a way, spread the way it spread from his time till our time. Think about the significance of that one issue of faith, which for us is the greatest issue, would have been wiped out completely from humanity. But one person was able to preserve it. So Allah Ta'ala says that He is a nation, that He is a community, He is the entire human race, that one person, even though He was alone, even though He was by Himself. And then Allah Ta'ala gives us 4 traits that describe what it means that He's an ummah. Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan qanatin lillahi hanifa. So he was qanit lillah, he was steadfast, like dua al-qunut, he was steadfast in his worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hanifa, he followed the pure way, the natural way of submission to what Allah Ta'ala has asked us to do. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ, and he did not commit or he did not associate with that belief. شَاكِرًا لِأَنْعُمِهِ, and he is grateful for the blessings that Allah Ta'ala has given him. اجتباه وهداه إلى صراط المستقيم. So Allah Ta'ala chose him and guided him to the straight path. So those 4 qualities, Allah Ta'ala describes why Ibrahim alayhi salam is called a nation. That he is qanit, that he is steadfast in his belief, he is steadfast in his practice. He didn't waver. He didn't let the fact that everything around him was against that one belief or didn't share that belief. He didn't disparage from that fact, but he kept steadfast, consistent in what he had to do. And in that steadfastness, that's the natural way. Ad-Din al-Hanif, that's the natural way. And the Prophet ﷺ said the best religion is al-Hanafiyyatu samha, is the easygoing natural way. Any religion in which there is toughness in it, complication, that's something that's it's off kilter, it's not right. But easygoing, gentle, that's the way that Allah Ta'ala has created for us. And that is the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Now we are not one person, but we are an entire community. Alhamdulillah. Either the local community, or if we think, in a macro level, the greater global community, alhamdulillah, there is faith. So if one person can preserve faith for all of humanity, if one person, وَأَذِّن بِالنَّاسِ فِي الْحَجِّ, if one person can call people to Hajj, that's another verse when Allah Ta'ala tells him, call people to the Hajj. Who is he going to call? There's nobody to call. It's just him. But he did it anyway. He said, okay. And the traditions say that Allah Ta'ala caused the mountains to sink a little bit and His voice projected throughout the whole world. And then look, even before the time of Islam, the time of the message of Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ, people were making Hajj in Mecca. It was still, the manasik were there, the rites of the pilgrimage were there. All of that from that one person. But that one person had those qualities. The most important of those qualities is to be steadfast. So for us as a community, alhamdulillah, we have resources, we have a community, we have each other. To think about that concept moving forward. For us to be steadfast and to be unwavering in our devotion, unwavering in our message, whether it's the message that we have internally or the message that we have outside, but to hold to our principles without twisting this way or that way. When you buckle on your principles, eventually it's like a crack, in the seam or a crack in the foundation. Eventually the building will crumble. That's what happens if you are wavering with your principles. Just like a physical structure will buckle if the principles are not sound, you yourself as a person, morally you will implode if you do not hold to your principles. The last couple years, when we look at all of these global events, how many people, how many nations, how many groups have imploded morally because they did not hold to their principles, they did not hold to their values. So for us to be an ummah, for us to be a nation that others can benefit from, then we have to hold to those principles. So don't think that what we do here is something small, because what we are doing here is preserving our faith for us and inshallah for many, many, many generations to come. Our perspective should be multiple generations, not just us and our kids and that's it. And at least in the work that I do personally, and I know that Imam al-Rifai and I know Anas share that view, when we talk, when we preach, when we teach, we're always thinking not just about now, but about the future. What am I saying now? How will other people in the future interpret this? Will they take it and misuse it? Am I saying something that is guiding, that is helping, or am I saying something that is not? As a matter of fact, in the craft of fatwa, they teach us that there's something called al-ma'alat. Al-ma'al is something that will happen in the future. So one of the things the mufti has to do is not only does he give the answer for the situation now, but he or she has to posit what might happen in the future based on what I say now. Will somebody take this and twist it and it will become corrupted? If so, then I need to change the way I give my answer. I need to change the way that I do my legal reasoning. So we are a forward-thinking people, just like Sayyidina Ibrahim was forward-thinking. And like Allah Ta'ala made him an ummah all by himself, inshallah, through us and through this community, we can be an ummah that others can benefit from, inshallah. So don't underestimate the work that we do. Don't underestimate what you do as an individual, what you bring to this community. Because each one of us has the potential to be that nation. And there are many prophets, the last thing I'll say, there are many prophets. Allah Ta'ala, the Prophet ﷺ tells us, all of the prophets will be brought Yawm al-Qiyamah with their communities. But there will be some prophets that will come and nobody's with them. They're all by themselves. So another issue to think about is results. That the result is really with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't say that Nuh alayhi salam failed because only 13 people, or he got like a D because only 13 people believed. And then, Sayyidina Isa got like a B minus. Because, it's not like that. Sayyidina Nuh, not only did Sayyidina Nuh not fail, but he's from Ulul Azm. He is from the prophets of great resolve, the highest level of the Anbiya. It doesn't matter that few people believed with him and were with him in the boat. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that his own son didn't believe. What matters is that he was steadfast and consistent in what Allah Ta'ala asked him to do. The result, that's for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. But that example in the Anbiya, that example of being consistent with those principles is what will last generation to generation. Even if the immediate material results are not as we like and as we desire, it will last the test of time, and that's what ultimately matters. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.